For today, I have prepared a very good team showcase with a Jellicent team. Jellicent is gonna take advantage of the absence from those dark types right now on Great League, and of course by pairing it up with two Pokemon that can cover its weaknesses and vice versa, we're gonna have a Bastiodon and Lickitung at the back. We're looking at a pretty meta line, and overall it is really worth watching till the end because I'm gonna have some really cool battles along the way. So now without any further ado, cue the intro. We begin today's content with a Jellicent up in front, but of course we're gonna see a Sableye right straight ahead. So by switching out to my Lickitung, I kinda have my hopes up that I can finish off this Altaria on the switch and try to flip around that very bad lead that I'm having. But most probably they are gonna block, and of course we're gonna have the bad alignment no matter what. At worst case scenario, I'm gonna get out of this battle with the shield advantage, which is always pretty great. Another body slam though, before the reach to the sky attack, this is pretty crucial, and my opponent goes down. Now Trevenant goes in, and of course I'm just gonna charge up as much as I can since I want to throw that power whip, but they're gonna throw that seed bomb, and that makes me think that perhaps now my Jellicent can go in pretty easily up against the Trevenant since I do not care that much about my Jelly. What I want to do at this point is to go ahead and do as much damage as possible with my Hexes and of course the potential Surf, which also gets the shield, so that my Bastiodon can have the shield advantage at the very end up against the Sableye, and eventually we can easily farm down with those smackdowns. Not even gonna get their hands on the Shadow Ball, which is absolutely great, still getting those two shields for the end game, and of course my opponent will try to go now for those foul plays. I don't care at all, my Stone Edge is still gonna be kinda clutch at this point. We still have those two shields remaining for the very end, which we need to start using at this point. So Stone Edge for once more is gonna do so much damage this time on that poor Sableye, and of course right after a few smackdowns later we managed to get that victory for our end. Into the next battle with Jellicent on the mirror. Most probably they are gonna get on the bait. Most of those Jellicents do that, so that's why I get a little bit too cocky here by not blocking at all. And we stand correct because they went for the bait, and right after they block our own Shadow Ball. You know what, I'm not gonna block anything at this point, I'm just gonna let them hit me with whatever move they have, and then another bait is along the way. Absolutely wonderful for us since now we can get our hands to the Shadow Ball and start doing some severe damage on their defenses. So now at the very end they have a Talonflame, which is not that ideal I guess, so here comes now a move, and you know what, since I switched out to my Lickitung to protect my Jellicent from further harm, I'm just gonna go ahead and sacrifice it for the greater good. But at this point I figured out that I am super close to the power whip, so I can definitely grab that final shield out of play. So with Swampert now able to farm up a ton of energy here, we might be in deep trouble. So what I want to do is to share the damage between my picks. I'm expecting here the Hydro Cannon, but guess what, my opponent knew better with the Earthquake to obliterate down my Pokemon. So Bastiodon is almost out of the way. Now I have to aggressively switch out to my Jellicent, and I need to get my hands on that double surf no matter what. One for the Talonflame, one for the Swampert to drop it severely low, and now this is a race to that charge attack or the farm down. We cannot do it though, so Swampert is gonna get there first to the Hydro, and of course finish off my Bastiodon in a very close battle. Into the next battle now, which is gonna give us a very good lead up against that Shadow Poliwrath, and now on the switch we're meeting up with that Shadow Gligar. You know what, this is still kinda good for us because we're just gonna keep going at it with those body slams while they still need to respect the damage if they want to flip around that very bad lead that they are having. So dig now on my shield once again. I'm not gonna let those digs hit me at all, so shields have to be popped up all the time, and at this point I'm just gonna get hit by another move, but of course we're looking kinda great at this position. Another body slam is imminent, but they managed to catch on that Leaky Tank of their own, so before I switch out I will first charge up to the body slam, then bring my Basidon into play so that I can hold completely down that Leaky Tank, and that final body slam might actually come in clutch towards the end of the game. I know that my Jellicent is still gonna be on the upper ground since they have that Poliwrath, so let's see how this is gonna go. I'm just gonna let them hit me with all those moves, I don't care at all, and now Poliwrath comes into play. We got to get our hands on the Stone Edge so that we can stall a little bit more, and now gonna switch into our Jellicent, so they are still switch locked in here with us. Able to get to the Shadow Ball. As soon as we get there, we cannot afford another debuff on our side. Now Leaky Tank returns with that Power Whip, most probably since they have a lot of energy stored up. And down we go to those leaks. So at this point Basidon will come into the battle, they have the Gligar and not even gonna reach to the dig, I guess at this point. That was too early to be a dig. So here comes now the complete farm down with the smackdowns, and eventually the Stone Edge will finish off my opponent into an amazing and close victory for us. Into the next battle now everyone, with the Whiskas up in front. Not the best, not the worst, absolutely playable for both ends, but they want to bring aggressively here the Charger Bug into play. That makes me think that perhaps they do that on purpose. They want to aggressively draw out my Basidon, my Galarian Stunfisk, something that the final Pokemon might be afraid of, so I can always expect something like a double bug backline or something like a Talonflame, which is gonna roam against whatever remains at the very end. So at this point I was not lagging. I did that on purpose because I want to protect my Basidon for that exact reason, just in case they have something like a Charizard, a Talonflame at the very end. So now with stalling a little bit extra, we managed to get our hands on the Switch and the Leaky Tank, which is absolutely great for us. Able to get now on the CMP, so this means that the next move can easily be taken while the Mud Bomb will drop that Whiskas pretty low. Let's see if they want to switch pretty soon right after this, because their Whiskas might actually be the only thing that can stop our Basidon at this point. Here comes now the farm down on the Charger Bug since they wanted to catch the move. This is not gonna happen, we're not gonna let that go through, and of course now at the very end they are not gonna have a Talonflame at all, nor a Charizard. That's mainly because my predictions most of the times are kinda garbage, and over here I'm just gonna return into the battle with my Basidon, able to do severe damage to their defenses and their shields. I will try to catch the move here on that Leaky Tank. I was pretty sure they were trying to go for the move right straight ahead since they knew that my Jellicent had some energy, and right here now we stand on a very good spot since whatever they throw can easily be taken and still reach to the Shadow Ball for the final nuke against the Whiskas. What a great battle that was. A lot of switches, a lot of rotation between the individual picks from both ends, both mine and my opponent, so definitely some battles that you should not skip for today's content. So here comes now Shadow Poliwrath once again, and of course this time they're gonna stay into the battle. So those skulls are gonna add up in damage, and for the first time after a lot of time I'm not gonna get debuffed over here. That was a first for me this season. So Shadow Ball now on the shield, and another move is imminent most probably. Of course at this point I'm kinda obliged in blocking while I can still reach now to that Shadow Ball for some extra damage and pressure on their end. Right here now we're having the upper hand with the shields, and at the very end they might be having something that is gonna be kinda bad for my Basidon, but they end up having a double ghost backline, which is still pretty great for us. All we have to do here is to stay into the battle with our Leaky Tank, since I have my Basidon with one shield remaining against none for the end game and the complete farm down. Here comes now the Power Whip to destroy down the remaining HP that this Skeletridge is having, but to my surprise they can still survive with one single HP. So I'm just gonna bring into the battle here my Basidon, because I know that even a Shadow Ball will not do so much damage, but instead they press that Disarming Voice since they were getting super low. And you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and reveal right here my Bastiodon, and I'm pretty sure that they have nothing else to throw. I'm just gonna take the next move as well because of how bulky we can be. A double Shadow Ball is still not enough to tickle us at this point, and we are just gonna be able to farm down in the process. Heading now into the next matchup with that Sableye once again. Absolutely a terrifying Pokemon for our Jellicent, and on the switch we're meeting up with a Bastiodon. This is something that I would never imagine saying. I'm afraid of its attack stat right now. Because of the Shadow bonus offensively, this Pokemon is still pretty bulky, even though that minus 20%. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my Power Whips on that Shadow Bastiodon. They can still handle, but still that final Power Whip might drop them pretty low, and they definitely want to have the upper hand on the switch with that Sableye up against my Jellicent. But I will try to do my best here, able to survive the falling moves and still get my hands on that Body Slam for that knockout. My opponent though will just respect the damage even when resisted, and right after we're having the showdown with our Jellicent. I'm pretty sure they will try to switch out here, but I was not aware of how much energy points they had already farmed up, so down we go to that foul play. It all depends now on what they might be having at the very end, because we know that Bastiodon is severely hurt while this Sableye will just fall down to a single Stone Edge. Down they got this point. Let's see what they might be having at the very end. Here comes the Wigglytuff, which is absolutely wonderful for us, and since their switch timer is not up yet, I'm just gonna press immediately that Stone Edge and deal as much damage as I can to that Pokemon. Here comes a move that I'm pretty sure we can survive, and following that Disarming Voice right after, we can easily farm down the remaining HP that they have on that Shadow Bastiodon. A very good lead for the final battle, everyone, up against that Umbreon on the switch. Tentacruel is always a very good lead for my Jellicent, but Umbreon, well, I'm always afraid of that Pokemon, but I'm just glad that I can encounter it not with my Lickitung, not with my Jellicent, but instead with my Bastiodon. So all we need to do here is to exchange some heavy pressure towards each other. They have the spam, we got the fast attack heavy pressure, so we're just gonna keep going at it. Foul play number 4-5, I don't care at all, Bastiodon can still survive all of those moves, and another foul play is imminent. Just gonna get my hands here on the Stone Edge for some final pressure on their end, which they are gonna block, and of course right after we might actually need to do the same, because foul play here is gonna drop us even lower at the point that they might actually have the upper hand over my Jellicent with their final Pokemon. Eventually we managed to farm down, now they have a Gallade. Are you kidding me? This is pretty scary, pretty terrifying, and of course Gallade will get their hands on the Leaf Blade. Lickitung now will go in. I will try to catch the move on my Jellicent. That was a pretty bad call, because now they have the Leaf Blade to do so much damage on my end. And another one, of course, after that shield. Look at the damage output, and oh my goodness, is that the third in a row? I wasn't expecting that. Anyways, down they finally go. It all depends now on if we can finish them off right on time, but let me share a secret with you, I do not think we can. So here comes now another move from that Tentacruel. I'm just gonna go ahead and let that go through. Let's get our hands now on the Body Slam, and of course after that debuff we do not have any chance at all. So I will try to get on that Power Whip, but they are already there on the skull to finish off that Lickitung, and we're gonna end this video in a very unorthodox close. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for sticking around till the end. Before you go, leave a huge like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all into the next one.